So when we say investing, we're using our assets to earn income or profits. Okay. So nowadays, even ordinary individuals are into investment, right? So we just have to be careful on which investment scheme are we going to consider for us not to be leading to an investment scam. And I know that you are all aware with what is happening, that people would want to earn um as in very quickly with a higher interest rate. So that's why other people um resorted to, without knowing that they have joined into an investment scam. Okay. Now, one investment scheme that people or ordinary people usually do is go into basic savings account. So this enables the depositors to keep their money in a safe place while earning a small amount of interest each month. Actually, the purpose of saving people's money into a bank savings account is basically to secure their money, and we cannot guarantee, and I agree that there's no such place as safe place. Even our home nowadays is not considered safe. So to protect our earnings, our savings, we usually place our money in the bank. And we can consider or categorize that as putting our money into savings account or current account. I guess the only difference is if it's current account, like you'll have your check account that you can, issue check to people using your current savings account. But for basic savings account, it's just basically on the purpose of saving. No, you're not allowed to issue check in the first place. But another purpose why people place their money in the bank is for them, of course, to earn interest. Of course, the higher the investment, the higher the interest that you will earn. But if you're into like making your money earn, savings account, placing your money in a savings account is not actually a practical way of doing so. So was as what I've said, practically people place their money in the bank basically for the purpose of, saving their money or making their money safe. Another way of investing money, guys, is through the time deposit account, or usually we call it a certificate of deposit. They call it CD, no? So it's a bank product which is almost the same as savings account, but money is kept by the bank for a fixed period of time. I guess the minimum number of days is 30 days, because 30 days equals one calendar month, 60 days, 90 days or more. So within that period, you are not allowed to withdraw your money. Unlike in the previous product of the bank, savings account, you can anytime withdraw your money, deposit your money uh, anytime you want. But for time deposit account, there's a specific period of time that you are allowed you to withdraw your money. Okay. So we have the money market. So this is a type of account offered by banks. So this usually pays higher interest, which has a higher, of course, minimum balance requirement. So usually it's 100K pesos and above, and may limit withdrawals. No, same with time deposit. The difference between the two is that it requires higher deposits than the time deposit account. Now, we are talking of interest here. So we define interest as a charge for borrowed money. So when we borrow money from the bank, of course, we cannot we can repay the loan money, of course, plus additional charge, and that charge is called as interest. For example, also we invest our money, for example, in a bank, in a cooperative, or in financial institutions. So with the use of our money as their investment, so we earn also an income, and we call that interest. So interest basically is a charge for borrowed money, whoever borrowed money. So there's a corresponding interest. So there's a corresponding income, and we call that in business math as interest. Now, there are many ways of computing interest. One way is simple interest. And I think simple interest nowadays is not usually observed. The next type of interest, which I will be discussing next week, is the commonly used now. But for the meantime, let's focus on simple interest. So when we say simple interest, obviously simply means a set percentage of the principal every year. Meaning the interest charge does not accumulate and added to the principal amount. So basically, when we say interest, calculating for the interest, for the simple interest, so this is like working on the product among the three variables that you see. So multiplying P, R, and P. So when we say P, that's the principal amount. So when we say principal amount, so this is the amount of money that you have invested or the amount of money that you have borrowed, no? So either of the two, borrowed or invested money, okay? And then there's the annual interest rate, okay? So that determines how much is being charged per year from your invested money or your borrowed money, okay? So I guess when you like deposit your money in a savings account, like for 100,000, this will only gives you an interest of 3% per annum, and then less of taxes, diba? That's the sad reality. But when you borrow to the bank, they give higher interest rate. When we invest our money to their bank, so they pay us interest, but a very low interest rate. But the moment that we borrowed money to them, like for example, we loan, um, we loan, we avail the car loan, the housing loan from them. So that requires us a higher interest. Well, the rule is the higher the principal amount, the higher the interest, and the higher the time, definitely, the higher the value of the interest. So the interest rate here, R, stands for the annual interest rate, meaning the interest is counted annually every year. And the time in years. So we have to convert the time in years. So for example, in the problem, time is expressed in months. So we have to express that in years for us to calculate the interest. And basically, we'll just follow two formulas here, and we will just do the derivation. And here, F here, guys, stands for the final amount. So meaning, the final amount equals the principal amount plus the interest. Now, if you are going to like go further with this one or rename I to PRT here, so you'll resort to this formula, like F equals P plus PRT. So we have a common factor between the two terms on the right side. So if we move out the common factor P, so that's we have P here, and then we divide both terms by P. So P divided by P is 1, and then PRT divided by P gives you RT. So that's why we derive to this value of F, no? F is the final amount or the maturity value. So when we say maturity value, so that's the amount that you pay or you receive at the end of the period. So maturity value or final amount equals the sum of the principal amount plus the interest. Okay? Now, we will be exploring the formula and working on these problems using our calculator. And of course, we have to identify the given. Okay. So for the first problem, so we're asked to find the simple interest for 5,000 invested at 6.25% for 3 years. By the way, well, actually, this topic is just a recall of a recall of your previous math lesson, right? Not just in your college, but even in your basic ed, no? So business math was introduced to you as early as your basic education days. But anyway, I'll give you the full discussion of this one. So for number one problem, I'm looking for my calculator app. Wait. So for the first problem, we're asked to solve for the interest. Okay? And we're going to use definitely the first formula here. So we just have to identify that this one very clearly is the principal amount, while the rate has to be expressed, by the way, to decimal form. So when we say 6.25, this is the same with 0.625. No need for me to explain why, okay? And then P is 3. So substituting the given in the formula, so the interest gives us working on the product among the principal amount, the annual interest rate, and time in years. So working on the product among the three given gives us an interest. So I want you to compute also as I compute here so we can compare answer. If there's something wrong, just let me know. Okay. 0.0625 pala siya. Oh, sorry. This has to be 0.0625, okay? Diba? We just move 2 decimal places going to the right. There. Okay. So 0.625 times 3. This gives us 937.50. Yan. As simple as that. Okay? Don't worry, I'll send you the discussion note. Raise your hand if you have concern, or you can unmute your mic, no, if there's something wrong here. So we'll come up with the same correct answer. Okay. So for the second problem, a department store charges 11% for the overdue accounts. So how much interest will be owed for a 10,000 account that is 3 months overdue? Okay. So this is just basically working on I. And this is the principal amount. This is the amount of money loaned. And then 3 months has to be converted to time. And this is equal to 3/12 year. Or simply, this is like 1/4 year. So why we have made use of the denominator 12? Take note, guys, that 1 year equals 12 months. Since the given is in months, we have to express that or convert that to year. So that's 3 months in a year. So that's 3/12. So this gives us 1/4 year. And then the annual interest rate equals 0.11, right? So solving for I requires us to substitute the given in the formula. So P for 10,000 times the rate 0.11 times 1/4. You can write 1/4 or 0.25 and everything will be done by your calculator. Okay? So how much is 10,000 times 0.11 times 0.25 or 1/4? So this gives us 275 pesos as interest. I'll just proceed unless you have questions, so I'll pause, okay? This time we're asked to solve for the find the simple interest, no? Again, no? So it's still solving for I. For 2,000 invested at 2.5% for 4 years. If there's no such terms as annual interest rate, we will assume that the annual interest rate is 2.5%. Okay, otherwise it's specified in the problem. So our P here is 2,000, and this is the annual interest rate. Of course, this is the time. So solving for I requires us just to substitute P, which is 2,000 times 2.5% in decimal is 0.025 times 4 years. Using your calculator, so what's 2,000 times 0.025 times 4? And this is 200 pesos. Okay? There. For number 4, an investor deposits 20,000 into a savings account. The account pays 7% interest annually. How much is the total investment after 2 years? This implies, guys, that we are asked to solve for the final amount. When we say total investment, definitely you'll not get 2,000 only. So the income or the interest has to be added from the investment. So this must be working on the final amount. And the final amount equals P, quantity 1 plus RT. Okay? So substituting the given in the formula, we know that P equals 20,000. So this is 20,000 times quantity 1 plus the product of the rate, which is 0.07 because that's 7%, and time, which equals 2 years. So simplifying using our calculator, so this is 2,000 times quantity 1 plus the product of 0.07 and 2. Wait. Okay. Error siya. 0.7 times 2. That's basically 20,000 times 1.14, right? And that gives you 22,800 pesos. Meaning, your money earns 2,800. Since we're not asked to solve for the interest, we can directly calculate for the final amount or for the maturity value, which is using this formula. Next. Yes, Mark Daniel.
Ma'am, so doon po sa kanina sa number 4 po, okay lang din po ba if ever kunin din po namin yung simple interest then add na lang po namin yung
Sure.
Investment amount,
Yeah,
deposit amount?
Kaya lang kasi, mas direct ito eh. Pero if you feel like working on F equals P plus I, you solve for I, then you add that with P, mas matrabaho, di ba? Pero whichever you want, as long as you'll come up with the same correct answer, which is 22,800, that's fine. Okay lang yon. Okay, so for number 5, Steve borrowed money on 22% simple interest for 1 year to buy some expensive Christmas presents. When he paid back the loan a year later, 440 interest was charged. How much did he borrow? So meaning, here, P is missing, right? Magkano daw yung inutang, di ba? And we have to note that this 22% is the annual interest rate. Ang laki naman. And then this is payable for 1 year. Maybe since P is missing, we can solve for P using this or the other formula. Okay? The F equals P quantity 1 plus RT. Since P is missing and we have provided already with the interest, the rate, maybe this one is a better option, no? This formula is better option to solve for number 5 problem. Now we can derive or we can just substitute the given and solve for the unknown variable. For example, we know that the interest is 400. So this is your I, right? So 400 equals, we don't know what's P because that's us in the problem. And then we just multiply this with the rate, which is, yes, Ara?
440 po dapat yung interest.
Ah, yeah, sorry. Thank you, thank you. Bakit ba 400 lang ang sinulat ko? Thank you. So P is missing, so we just have to remain the variable P there. But this must be 440. Thank you for the correction. And then the time is 1. So you don't need to write 1. Or if you like, you just have to write 1. Para when you are reviewing, when did we get this 1? Kasi baka mamaya ma-confuse kayo. Why we only have 2 factors? I know that solving for I requires us to multiply 3 variables, right? So I just have to place 1 there. But we know that any expression multiplied by 1 is the expression itself. Just for reference. So we have to simplify. So this is 440 equals 0.22p, right? So algebraically, to solve for p, we have to isolate p by dividing both sides by 0.22. So this becomes p. So our p here equals 440 divided by 0.22. So 440 divided by 0.22 equals 2,000. Grabe, no? Yung 2,000 na hiniram mo, nag-earn ng 400 in just a year. Kasi malaki yung interest rate. Or if you're not comfortable substituting the given, you can derive a formula like you divide both sides here by RT. No? Parang you have I equals PRT. You divide both sides by RT. So meaning P equals I all over RT. Yan. And this is what we did here. No? So we divide the interest by the product of R and P, which is 1 times 0.22. And then we simplify. So we got 2,000 pesos. Okay? For number 6, guys, a sum of 4,687.50 was lent out at simple interest. And at the end of 1 year and 8 months, the total amount was 5,000. Find the interest, the rate of interest. By the way, if there's no such instruction as to how you write your final answer, particularly if the answer is non-terminating decimal, the general rule, guys, is to round off our answer to 2 decimal places, okay? But if there as such as a specific instruction in your exercise, so you have to follow the instruction. If I didn't give a specific instruction, automatically the rule is you round off the answer to 2 decimal places. I hope this is clear. Okay, so this is working on the interest rate. So we can work on the second formula, F equals P quantity R, I1 rather, plus RT, right? So we know that this is the final amount. So this will be 4,687.50 equals the P here, the P is missing, but we can solve for the P. Here, 5,000, no? Wait. Mali. I-reverse natin, ha? Okay. This amount is actually the principal amount, right? No? And this one was the final amount, 5,000 pesos. Sabi, this was borrowed at simple interest rate at the end of 1 year and 8 months. The total amount was 5,000. Okay, so this must be, and you have to note that, of course, the final amount is always greater than the principal amount, definitely, no? Walang magpapautang ng palugi, right? So this is 5,000 pesos. And then you have the principal amount, 4,687.5. And I'm using this formula, guys. times quantity 1 plus the interest rate is unknown. So it has to be R. And then time is 1 and 8 months. So how do we convert 1 and 8 months? So that's basically 12 over, no, 20 over 12. So 1 year is 12 months plus 8 months. So that's 20 over 12. No, you can either place 20 over 12 in your calculator kasi that can be simplified by your calculator. No need to reduce that to simple to its lowest term. Gagawin na yan ng calculator nyo, right? So here, we know that we have unknown variable. So let's just simplify this to this one. So we have 5,000 equals 4,687.5 times 1 plus R. So that's 1 plus, I'm sorry. Or, wait, there's an easy way here. So this is, I find it very complicated. Maybe we can like identify the given first. And then let's just make use of this one. Although what I'm doing will lead us to the correct answer, but I think that's a longer solution. So maybe we can identify the given and then work on I equals PRT. Okay. So here, P is 4,687.5 and F is 5,000. And then of course R equals time equals 20 over 12. And then we do not know what's R, right? From the given, we can solve for I actually. So we work on the difference between the final amount and the principal amount, right? So your I here equals 5,000. 5,000 less 4,687.5. So our interest rather is 312.50. So we can solve for this. This is kind of complicated, no? Medyo mahaba-haba yung solution. So we have I. So we are solving for R. So we know that I is 312.50. So this is I equals P. Our P is 4,687.5 times the rate we do not know times the time. So this is 20 over 12. And then we can work on the product of the right side of the equation. So 312.50. So equals 20 over 12 is approximately 1.667. So you just have to write 20 over 12 so that our goal is not to round off the value. We will only round off for the final answer. But along the solution, we are not allowed to round off. So maybe you can like multiply 20 over 12 by 4,687.5. 4,687.5. And then you'll come up with an exact value, 7,812.5. And then there's R here. So you divide both sides by 7,812.5, both sides, so that you can isolate for R. And everything on the right side will be canceled, then R remains. So dividing 312.5 or 50 by 7,812.50 gives you 0.04. And this has to be converted to percent once you provide your answer. So this is 4%. So what I did prior to providing this solution is to work on the second formula here, but it's kind of longer. So what we did was to identify the given first and then solve for the first formula instead. But we had to work on the value of I. Since we have the value of F and P, we can solve for I. So we work on the difference between F and P. And then we come up with the value of I. We substituted the given in the formula I equals PRT. Then upon substituting, of course, there's remain an unknown variable R. And then we simplify and we come up with the value of the interest rate equals 4%. Guys, whenever the interest rate is missing, you have to express the answer in percent. Whenever time is missing, whenever you're asked to solve for time, you have to express time as your final answer in years. Okay? So for number 7, an amount of money gained an interest of 14,400. So it was invested for 9 months. If the simple interest rate is 6%, calculate the principal amount. So 4,400, guys, is interest. So meaning we are looking for a higher principal amount. Kasi imagine 14,400 is the interest. Although it was invested in a shorter time, less than a year for 9 months, and the interest rate is 6%. Let's find out how much money was invested. Okay, so we have here the value of I equals 14,400. So we can actually consider the first formula, and the interest is 14,400. And this equals P, which is as in the problem, times the annual interest rate 0.06, and then the time is 9/12. So that's 9 months. And then working on or simplifying on the right side of the equation, we'll come up with 0.75 times 0.06. So this gives you 14,400 equals 0.045p. So we divide both sides. I'll make it faster. We only have 1 minute left. 0.045, 0.045. So we have P here equals 14,400 divided by 0.045. So this gives us 320,000 pesos as the final